I'm tapping. Oh.
All right, we get ready to go live.
Okay.
Next time I'll try to find a countdown video for us.
All right.
Alicia, we're live.
All right. Hey, everybody. ChangeMakers here. This is our very first weekly, depending on how this goes, weekly, bi-weekly ChangeMakers Uncensored episode, where we will talk about controversial topics, what's on our mind, anything that just comes out of here. So my name is Alicia Rausch. I am a co-founder and lead organizer for ChangeMakers. You guys want to introduce yourselves?
Ladies first.
My name is Daylana. I am a co-founder and organizer for ChangeMakers as well.
My name is Delonte Jackson. I am the Director of Public Relations for ChangeMakers.
Mute.
Give way.
Can you hear me now?
Good.
Okay, awesome. My name is Kid Boy Cooper. I'm also part of the ChangeMakers. Happy to be here. Yeah, so.
All right, y'all. So we are going to kind of do like a question and answer type of segment here so you can get to know us a little better, I guess. So how we're going to do that is we have some questions here, and let's just go, and the number generator is not working, y'all. So let's pick a number from 1 to 10, and we'll put this on the men to pick 2 numbers, and those questions are going to be the questions that we use.
Two numbers.
Kipway, give me a
number. 7.
Well, they can't be looking at the question list, right?
No, I mixed it up. I mixed it up.
I think Lante was looking at the list.
I ain't got the list.
I was looking for a pen.
Yeah, that's why I got
Mix it up, y'all. Okay. Okay, question number 7 would be, when have you felt most challenged? Who wants to start?
Are we all answering it or just like 2 of us?
We're all going to answer this question.
Okay.
I guess I can go first. I think that's interesting, that question, because I think for myself, there's so many things that are uniquely challenging. It's kind of hard to figure out which one is the most challenging. I think for me, when I moved out to Fort Wayne and was getting my degree, that was just an incredibly difficult process for me with everything that was going on in my life and stuff. And so I felt really, really challenged at that point. That 4 years of my life was just very hectic. And then after my mom passed away, rebuilding what I thought I had already put together was just even more challenging after that. So I would have to say the rebuilding process after having lost my mom would probably when I felt the most challenged to be better, to be different, to overcome everything that was going on, and to process in real time while also functioning as an adult. So that's what I would say.
Awesome.
Man, that was deep in the mud. Thank you, Kidway, for sharing that. I wanted to rewind just a little bit. So we are on a Zoom and we are live on Facebook. Can you guys share with your friends, share within your groups. We would love to bring you guys in as a part of the conversation. So you could also go to the comments and leave your comments there. And at a certain point of this live, we will start to look at your comments. So make sure that you like and share. You could do a carry emoji if you want as well. But like and share the video. We actually should all go in and like and share as well, because I don't know if we've done that. So if we could give people a few seconds to do that. Sorry for like breaking up our Q&A that we began, but I wanted to make sure that everyone got the opportunity to access and join us before we really we dove in already, y'all. It happened already. Some of our heads are still above water, so we just like and share. Let me go and like and share as well.
Okay, I shared.
Okay, I shared as well.
Yep, I'm good.
See,
Okay. Is that all for the
that's
logistics or anything that we need to do in the beginning before we go back in? That's it.
yes.
All right.
I think
All
we're
right.
good.
Okay.
All right. So, well, Daylana, why don't you go next?
Okay. Darn it, that is a hard question.
It is.
Okay, so I would say I felt most challenged coming from a broken school system from Chicago, Illinois. I know we didn't do like little short bios, but I am from Chicago, Illinois. My family moved to Fort Wayne when I was 18. I won't tell you what year that was because I don't remember, and then y'all don't need to know my age like that. No, I don't mind because I love my age. However, I really don't remember. Okay, it was like 2004 or 5, 2005. Do the math, okay? But yeah, so moved here when I was 18, and have been. Some of us have lived here ever since, but I moved away, came back, moved away, came back. So I'm back now, and coming from Fort Wayne and coming from Chicago, I graduated high school in Chicago, a pretty good school, but still within a broken school system. And I was definitely a product of that. So going into my first year of college, I actually took a couple of years off of school to work because I am from a single family home, a single parent home. So the struggle was real. And so I had to work. I got out of high school and I had to work. So I went and I started working in factories here in Fort Wayne, picked up a trade, making really good money, soldering, right? Some of y'all probably know me from the factories. So I was working here for a few years, but by the time I went to college, I felt like a fish out of water. I didn't really feel like I belonged because I wasn't necessarily the same age as some of my peers, some of my classmates. I was a bit older. I was an untraditional student. I always knew that I was smart, right? However, coming from a broken school system and being smart doesn't necessarily put you on the same playing field as others, you know, that you might be sitting next to. So I just had to work that much harder to feel like I was at the level that I needed to be. But that's where I felt like I was most challenged. And I would say that I met that challenge, but I definitely had to work hard at it, get tutoring, things of that nature. So, yeah.
Oh, so cute.
That's nice.
Isn't it? I guess I'll go next. So it's not a secret like what I've been through in my life, but a lot of people don't know. So I went to prison at a young age. So that was probably my most challenging moment. I would say when I got out, because coming out with a felony, and being a single mother was, I mean, that was the, and then at the same time, like when I went to prison, I was pregnant, of course. So when I was in prison, I gave birth to my son in prison. And so he was with my parents that whole time that I was in prison, which was about 2.5 years. And so when I came home, he kind of really didn't know me as a person. Like he didn't know like I'm your mom because he's so used to my mom and my dad. So he kind of at first didn't want to have anything to do with me, but I had to force myself on him pretty much in order to um get him to get close with me. And there was a point in time where I had to, you know, go out on my own, get my own place. And you know, I had him with me, and there were times where he would just cry because he wasn't used to being with me, but it was something I had to do, you know. So I think that was probably one of the most challenging times in my life, was trying to, I guess, create a relationship with my son that should have been there from the beginning but couldn't. And so it was hard, you know. It's hard on a 2-year-old, you know. So yeah, that was probably the hardest thing I've had to do, as far as it was emotionally challenging and physically challenging. So yeah, that was my moment.
It just shows that we all have been through something.
Yeah.
And people, you know, that's watching don't need to just look at us and say, oh, they got everything going on. No, we have our own issues, we have our own lives, and we're trying to hold it better to the best that we possibly can. I think for me, the most challenging thing I've had to endure, and I'm still enduring it. For those who don't know, I am a minister. In 2000, from 2011 to 2013, I was in a ministry school in Memphis, Tennessee. In 2012, my grandmother passed, and I was raised by my grandparents due to the fact my mother and my father were both in the military serving our country. So that hit me at a time where I'm trying to graduate, still trying to do my schoolwork. I graduated. Thanks be to the God that I graduated. Then 5 years later, in 2017, especially around this time, my grandfather passed. When my grandfather passed, that hit me, and that did something more to me, where it actually started my road for depression. Then I did both my grandmother and my grandfather's eulogy. I got back home, and the day I got back home on that Monday, my grandfather's sister had passed away, who had been a foundation and even in my life. And then the day of her funeral, the day on her funeral, I didn't get a chance to attend because I had just got back to where I was living at in Texas at the time. The day of her funeral, my father had a heart attack and he died.
Mm.
And so for me, especially around this time of the year, because this is a general time frame where they all passed at the same time, it's always a challenge for me. So there's times when people have seen me out in public, and those change makers we know, y'all know I love to laugh and joke and have fun. But more recently, I've been kind of quiet and just trying to make sure I process that challenge and put it in a better direction and try not to allow the depression to overcome. So that's one of the biggest challenges of my life. I wish I could say it's over, but it's something I'm going to have to continue to still challenge and deal with. So.
Yeah, I feel you on that. 100%.
Y'all deep, man.
I was just about to say, this is heavy already. Let me go ahead and get some of this water.
Okay, let's lighten this up real quick, okay? So I got the next number.
Yep.
In honor of Kobe, number 8.
Number 8. Let's see what that question is. Ooh.
Oh,
y'all ain't gonna like this.
Uh-oh.
Who was the last person to make you cry and why?
We just got off of some heavy intros,
Yeah.
and this is what you choose. This is your fault, Delante.
Do we really?
Pass. We're not trying to cry on here right now. We'll say
okay, look, we're gonna do like this. We're gonna switch it up. Let's switch it up. What embarrasses you most?
Mm. You know what's funny?
Honestly.
You know what's funny? I'm 35. I'm 6'1", and I do not know how to swim.
Oh.
That isn't a.
Kid, you did not just laugh at him like that.
No, I completely relate, man. I can swim hard, but I don't float well. I'm just like too swole or something. I don't know.
Wait, look. I've always been the tallest individual, and anytime I got in the pool, it's like I'll go to like right here on my neck, and then I'm walking back. So for me, it was never a purpose to learn how to swim, and now that I got kids, but that's not the most embarrassing. So the most embarrassing thing, and I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to do this to my child. She will talk about me later. My baby girl Olivia, who is now 5, when she had to be about 1, just playing with her, she was all happy and giggly. My child made the decision to lick her hand from bottom to top and slap me.
Kids be so. Ooh, with a wet hand.
With the wet hand. And that just triggered something, but that was embarrassing for me. She did get disciplined. I ain't gonna tell you how I do discipline my kids. She did get a tap. Cause when she did it, she had this look on her face like, oh snap. It's about to go
She knew
down.
she did wrong.
She
was
knew.
like, oh man.
She knew.
She didn't think it all the way through.
No, she thought that's how I've been here before. She thought it through.
Oh Lord.
So, but yeah, that's the most embarrassing probably.
That always seems.
Where did the hand lick come from though? She had to get that from a movie or something.
She got it from her dad.
It ain't from me.
Who's that licking hands and slapping people?
It ain't me. Because I'll be in jail if it was me. Let me stop. Y'all not gonna incriminate me on this Zoom call. We're live on Facebook. So
guys.
The most embarrassing?
Yeah.
What embarrasses you the most? Me, you want to go?
Oh, you can go, Alicia. Go for it.
I mean, okay, I would say what embarrasses me most is when my kids, kids say the darndest things. You know what I'm saying? That is what embarrasses me most. I remember being with my kids in a grocery store, and this lady had a big booty, and I'm pushing the cart, and my son's in the cart, and he says, "Mom, that lady's got a big butt." I'm like, oh my gosh. Like, what do you? And she clearly heard. I mean, she was right next to us. It was like, oh God, what do I say? Like, I'm so sorry. Like, like they just tell the truth,
That could have made her day. Either if it was a cute big or if it was a big, but depending on how she feel about her butt.
Right.
It probably was a compliment, like, oh, my butt look big today. You never know.
Let's hope so. Let's hope she didn't go home and cry and everything.
Right.
Exactly.
Area.
Only Alicia knows what kind of big it was, but we ain't gonna make her say.
Look.
She was like, we weren't supposed to talk about
that. I mean, it wasn't a nasty big. It was just a big one.
That's good. You said a nasty big.
It wasn't a nasty big.
That's another category of big, huh? There are a lot of categories, okay?
Mm-hmm.
So I come from a comedic family, so we talk about each other from the rooter to the tutor, okay? Anything that could be talked about would be talked about. I mean, I'm talking about from your hair to your nose that look like your daddy's. I mean, if your lips be crusty all the time, if your breath be stank, if your breath be dry, whatever it might be. Listen, when I tell you that it's a bunch of comedians in the family and it's hard. So it's hard to talk about a comedian, right? Because they make fun of themselves. So it's really hard to embarrass people like that. But I would say that because working in schools, like Alicia said, kids, especially if it's elementary school kids, they can say whatever they want and you can't say much else to them. So working in high schools, I could come back at a high school kid, right? You know, if they say a little something, I could say a little something, slip back, because the kids then talked about me from the root to the tutor in the classroom. Actually, this classroom is my background right here. I was talked about so much in that classroom right there. So not embarrassed by much, but once I got to elementary, y'all, these kids can say things that I couldn't say anything, you know, I couldn't respond to. But I'd say, it's very hard to say what embarrasses me. Y'all, I really, okay, you know what? I know. So I would say it's more of a professional thing. If I have to speak publicly somewhere and I'm ill prepared, or I just have to wing it and it doesn't go over well, I would say something like that is embarrassing to me, especially if I have to go watch it back and I know that I wasn't prepared and sounded I have mess. Those things nowadays embarrass me a little bit more than somebody talking about.
Yeah, I totally agree with that.
Could say.
Being unprepared, I was really curious about where that was about to go, and then you went a totally different direction. I wasn't gonna, you know, I was like, whoa, did this just get dark? What happened? We're gonna talk about that offline. But I would say, you know, so I used to get embarrassed a lot. I have really bad nerves. And so there's been many times, especially growing up, when my family as a group, we used to sing at church. And there's a lot of us, like I have like 7 siblings. And so there was a lot of us. And I used to have this solo and I used to cry every time I sang it. And it was the most popular song we sang. So it was like, it was always the song that we sang. And I would always cry during it. It was the most scarring, frustrating experience. And it was constantly embarrassing. So that would be, it was called Ain't God Good.
Go ahead, sing the song, Kid Boy. Go ahead.
I'm about to go there. But even to this day, I feel like spiritual music makes me emotional. I think there's like I have to unpack that at some point, but there's like some kind of linkage there. But yeah, that would probably be my most embarrassing time. But I mean, at the same time, it also helped me grow a lot too, because I'm not nearly as, I mean, I perform now and I don't have those issues. So yeah, that would be the most embarrassing I can remember off the top of my head. Oh, there was another time I tried to jump over this fence and I didn't make it. I didn't make it, bro. My foot got caught. It was a mess.
Oh,
it was a mess.
Well, if we're talking about like slips and falls, if we're talking about like slips and falls, I did fall down the school bus stairs getting off the bus one day, like all the way down and out the door and onto the pavement.
Oh,
that was embarrassing. And the bus driver's like, "Are you okay? All right, have a good day." Clank, shut the door. Everybody's looking out the window like, "Oh my gosh."
Oh shoot. Yeah. I had an adult fall, and I do it, every once in a while. But I did fall up the steps the other day. Up the steps, okay? And I got up and laughed and came and told my sisters about it. But I will tell you that in the wintertime, about 5 years ago, every morning that I woke up, I would slip and fall to my car. I mean, do y'all remember those days, the ice? So literally I would walk out of the apartment where there's some concrete, but where the apartment ends and then it's just open, it was literally sheets of ice. And I would forget every morning, I don't know why, that it was potentially really slippery right there. Like there were some times, I'm telling you, it was like maybe 4 or 5 winters ago, but literally, like the snow was blanketed with ice, my car, everything. And I know some people that I worked at this one factory here with, stewards. The whole parking lot of that job was slippery. And you kept saw people would get out of their cars and try to go into work so we wouldn't be late. And everybody slip and fall, slip and fall, slip and fall. Everybody who got out. And I'm like, so y'all not gonna stop getting out the car? So I mean, it wasn't just me, but literally it was 5:30 in the morning, so everyone was asleep, but I was slip and fall every morning that I walked out of my apartment. Embarrassing, but you know, I got up and shook it off. Wait, did you slip and fall too? You did.
You know, I've had my fair share of falls upstairs and down. So
Oh yeah.
I fell off a ladder one time. That was really fun. Yeah.
Look, Delonte ain't saying a word.
I plead the fifth.
He's not
Delonte
trying to
Time's
reveal
up.
any of
Slip.
his slip and falls.
Mm-mm.
We know you
Okay.
slipped and fall.
Okay, so my grandparents are fine, since we'll share, and then we got to move on. My grandparents had a basement in their house, and as a kid, I used to play on the stairs. And so one of the things I would do is just lean back and grab onto the railing, and lean back, grab onto the railing. And so my grandfather, he see me do it. He says, "Look, if you keep on doing that, you're gonna fall down the stairs." I got it, Papa. I ain't gonna fall. I got this. I've been doing this long. He said, if you gonna miss it one time and you gonna fall down them steps, you never gonna do it again. Not me, Papa. I got this. I got skills. I got this. And so maybe a couple days later, you know, I'm getting more daring and waiting, and finally I let go. My reflexes were not as what they used to be. I tumbled down wooden steps,
Ooh.
and then managed to miss the little carpet that they had down at the bottom of the steps in my head and hit the concrete. So they had the concrete slab. And so my grandfather opens up the door, and instead of consoling me, my grandfather begins to laugh at me. And then he just closed the door. And here I was crying. And that just confused me. And I'm like, wait a minute. He just killed my ego. You supposed to check on me, Pawpaw. He said, I told you not to do that, and you did it anyways. That's what you get. So that's my second embarrassing story. But
I can just hear the sound in my head telling kids not to do something, and then they keep doing it, and it's do 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 do. Like, oh, there you go.
Sometimes you don't even got to look to check it out. You just be like, told ya.
Yeah. Okay, you okay?
See?
You
See?
See?
Be like this. You alive? Yes. We ain't taking you to the hospital. Shake it off. You be okay. So, all right.
All
so
right,
the ladies
y'all.
has the questions to pull the numbers.
Yeah, we done with the questions, y'all.
Good.
So we're gonna move on to our other topics of the night. So we have 5 topics we're gonna be talking about, guys. Our first topic is gonna be Kamala Harris. We'll talk about Jacob Blake, W.A.P, and the whole Kylie Jenner scandal controversy. Megan Thee Stallion, and of course Frank Nitty. So, Kamala Harris. Thoughts, concerns, opinions. What do y'all think about Kamala Harris?
First, I want to start and say something real quick.
Go
First
ahead.
of all, I just want to say congratulations to Kamala Harris. What a historic moment for her and for other Black ladies who have been consistently marginalized and abused. I've often heard, ladies say, it's one thing to be Black, it's another thing to be a Black and a female. And I don't know nothing about that life. I have 5 sisters, and so the most that I know is that I don't know. And the older I get, the more that I do figure out, the more I realize I don't know. So I just want to say I'm really, really happy for her, proud of her, thankful for her. That is not the person I was hoping that would get selected. However, she is amazing. So she went to Howard University. I think her father's Jamaican, right? And was
Correct.
like a biologist or something. Like she comes from some pretty incredible background, some pretty sharp people. And her sister, I believe, is also in the political sphere. So she's really quite impressive. Now I know there's some different things that people have said as far as, you know, her background as an attorney and all the brothers she threw in jail and all of that. And while that is alarming, while that is something that bothers me, I also understand that people have an arc, right? They have an actual a curve that their development takes, and I'm hoping that as she rises, her development will continue to speak for itself. She is incredible, and I hope and pray that her heart is in the right place. She seems to be a fierce advocate for those who need help and those who are impoverished, those who are the most vulnerable among us. And that includes a lot of different people, right? That includes Black people, that includes all of the other spheres and levels of prejudice and bigotry, all of those different things. And so for me, I guess my general stance on that is just that I'm sure she'll do a fantastic job. I really hope that she continues to be stellar, and not just in a way that is, you know, predatory towards people of color, which when I was first learning about her, those were the main things that I knew. And as I've continued to research, you know, I just am like, well, you know, you can't make an omelet without cracking eggs. So I think there's certain situations that you're in where you have to do what you have to do. Now on the back end, especially as it pertains to the criminal justice system and things like that, we have to create solutions prior to them getting into the courtroom. We have to create avenues of betterment prior to them showing up in front of a district attorney, you know. And I think sometimes, depending on what's going on in that person's life, depending on what's going on in life in general, sometimes that is the last that's the last stand, and you really don't have much you can go on, you know, at that point. And that's because we failed. The system has failed in so many other avenues. So, you know, I know there's a lot of negative things that people can say, but I'm going to be the first to say something positive about the lady and to congratulate her and other Black ladies on their historical achievement, because you know, I just think it's a great time. I love to see smart Black women doing really well, and we need so much more of it. There's so many issues that I feel like females have a unique grasp on, and they don't have the opportunity to really show that. So that's kind of how I feel about Kamala Harris. I've done a little bit of research on her, and I've been steadily taking in more and more, and so that's my 2 cents.
I've kind of done the same thing. Like at first I was like, look, don't like her, not at all. Didn't like her in the last debates. I was like, no. But I've had to read, like you said, I've had to really dig into her record, who she is, where she came from. And I'm still, like you said, I'm unpleased with what she has done to Black men. As a prosecuting attorney or whatever she was, right? Prosecutor. But I also want to congratulate her as well, because this is history that she's making, and no matter what, I think we can hold her accountable. And if she doesn't do the things that we need done, and she continues to do the things she's done to Black men, or try, or, you know, just tries to push things that don't align with us as a community, you know, then we can get her out of there, you know, get them out of there. But right now, lesser of two evils, and you know, I've had to come to grips with it and just, you know, really do my research before I just jump on it and say, I hate you, I don't like you, I don't like what you did. And I did that, but everyone deserves a chance.
Absolutely.
That's so nice. That's so nice of you, Alicia.
I know, isn't it?
A chance.
I'm just so sweet.
Except current president.
Yeah.
What did Delonte say? I digress.
I digress.
Yeah, that's not you, the president.
Okay, I was about to. I'm glad you cleared that up. But I echo the words that Kid Way and Alicia have mentioned. First and foremost, congratulations. I think as a Black man, the one hang up I did have was her conviction record of African American men. From 2004 to 2015, she has a very long track record. So that was something, when I heard the announcement, I was like, wait a minute, why her? You know, when there's so many others that in my mind would have been qualified. But then I started to think about this. Who is Biden and her running against? So sometimes, in order to remove a situation, Alicia mentioned, and I had actually wrote it down, the lesser of two evils. By looking at the lesser of two evils, and this may sound crazy, I'd rather have somebody who has a track record of at least, and even though, let me say this, not every Black person that was arrested and prosecuted was innocent. Let me say that, okay? And I'm saying this as a Black man. Not everyone was innocent, but also not everybody was guilty as well. But when you compare that to the word that Delana just used about the individual we have in office right now, I'd rather take that track record for those years than opposed to an individual who has shown us a lot longer what he's all about. This is the same man who back in the early 90s says prosecute and kill the Central Five. You know, this is the same man who has really criminal charges, and I'm still shocked that he has not been, really the charges have not been trumped against him. See what I did there? And so when I it's coming out of me a little bit. But when I look at the ballots and just thinking about what we've been through the last 3 going on 4 years, it is time for a change. I'm willing to vote for a change as long as that change aligns with moving the country forward. Now, here's the other side of it. What Kamala, what she brings is voters. Like Kidway mentioned, Howard University, for those who sorority people that might be watching, she's an AKA, and they over hundreds of thousands of them, the Divine Nine. And so she's bringing that backing. But here's where we have to make sure, just as long as we're holding her accountable, we got to make sure we hold Biden accountable as well. And so if she don't work out, then Biden may have to go as well.
Right.
But once again, it's going to be interesting to really see what's going about to transpire. It's going to be interesting to really see what happens. And the thing that I could say, and I'm plugging this, if y'all really want change, y'all need to get out and vote. Don't make no excuse. You ain't got time. You got time to do everything else in the world. You got time to be in the stores without a mask. You got time to complain. You got time to protest. You got time to march. You need to take the time to go out and vote. Sorry, Kid, I had to plug that, but you get out and vote.
Hey, so we have a question here.
Okay.
From Karen Manley. It looks like her first statement was concern. Her background makes me question her. She was such a hard prosecutor, and now ... Her question is it an actual arch, or does she say what she needs to get what she wants? So do we think Kamala is sincere?
Can I answer that?
Yep.
Okay, two things. One, Delana never told us how she felt about Kamala Harris, so we got to get to that. But then
Yeah.
Oh no,
also,
we passed, y'all covered it.
okay, cool. Well, to answer that question, I think it's foolish of us to assume that anyone in the political sphere is not going to pander to their desired audience. They will all say things that they think we want to hear in order to gain momentum into the election. And so I do agree that it's really difficult to discern whether someone is going to be sincere or not once you give them that position. However, we already know the alternatives, right? So we have to give her an opportunity, give Joe Biden an opportunity to change some things, because the reality of the situation is none of us have the candidates that we necessarily want, right? We have the candidates that we have, and in order to move the ball forward, we have to take the best possible route. And now, once we get past this election stage, there's going to be a lot of other decisions we have to make, which we can really stick it to our elected officials to do what we want. But that's why it's so important that we vote, because when we show up in numbers, we can change things, and that is my opinion. I don't think that you're in any way your question is bad, but I also think it's just like, well, what are we going to do? I mean, do we really expect honesty from our political candidates? We expect calculated answers that satisfy our desires for transparency. And because they are calculated answers, they're always going to be in some way shifted or manipulated in order to sound the best that they can, so that we'll vote for them. And so we have to understand that's what's happening. It's like someone trying to sell you a really great car. They're still a car salesman, but they are trying to sell you a good car. So yes,
Right.
they're hyping you up, but they're also trying to sell you something that you want. So you don't have to believe them totally, but you want that car, you want that change, you want that the difference to that the effect of what they're bringing to the table. So we got to give them an opportunity to do it. That's my take on that question.
And can I add to that quickly? I know we're over time on that topic, but it is not our job to seek a candidate that we like or a candidate that is like us. It is our job to seek a candidate who has addressed our concerns, or most of our concerns, or pick the one that or the couple that actually addresses the most of our concerns. But once we do that, so basically what you guys have said, picking the lesser of two evils, once we have done that, we have to make sure that we do our job. Our job is actually to build political power so that we will actually have something to stand on when it is time to keep the pressure on them and to challenge them to do what they said they were going to do. But if we sit back and complain, if we sit back and keep looking for someone that we like, we will never have the opportunity like what we have now to build the political power that will allow us to keep the pressure on them to do what they are supposed to do. So our job now is to make sure that we build political power, that we unite, that we vote, and show them that this is how many of the Black and the brown community have voted. All of us, whoever, this is all, look at all of these votes right here. If you don't have these, you are nothing. But if we don't vote, then it's kind of like, well, their vote doesn't matter anyway. So just like what Kidway, Delonte, Alicia have said, we have to make sure that we vote, and then we have to make sure that we build that political power so that we can keep the pressure on these candidates.
Yeah. Okay. Let's move on to the next topic here, guys. Jacob Blake is our next topic. So, who wants to start? That's a hard one.
it's a case. It's a two-sided case. It starts off as, wow, here we go again. Here we have a young man who was doing something right, breaking up a fight, and police got involved, and for whatever reason, the officer attempted, because that's really what it was, they attempted to murder him. And those are my words. Now here's the twist to the story that has not happened with any of the other situations. He's alive. Now that's the blessing. Now he's alive, but he's paralyzed, as they say it as of now. We don't know if it's going to be life, permanent. Things change. Now, the other thing that gets me, and I know it gets Alicia as well, because I know we've all talked about it offline, is the officer had the audacity to shoot Jacob in the back, 7, 8, 9 times in front of his children.
Yeah.
My thing is, do you not have a taser? If you're gonna try to seduce somebody, do you not have a taser? You could have pulled out your baton, hit him in the leg or something. You could have pulled out your pepper spray and maced them in the face. But why was your choice or your decision to say, hey, I'm gonna pull out my gun and I am going to shoot him? Not once, not twice, but 7, 8, 9 times. See, me coming from a military background and being a vet, we are trained, and we used to make fun of the police. Military is trained to shoot to kill. The police is trained to shoot to stop, not to kill, though. And even before they get to all of that, they have so many, look, stop, freeze. You have the right to remain silent, freeze. They have so many times they have to give chances. And when you look at this video, we don't see none of that. But then you look at another video, and I'm going to say it, I'll get in trouble, oh well. You look at another video of a white cop dealing with another white individual who's holding a knife or gun, and here you see them begging and pleading with him, and they don't shoot him.
Yeah.
The individual that shot up the church in Charleston, y'all got me fired up now. The individual that shot the church in Charleston, if he would have been black, he would have been killed.
Yep.
But this man, they took him to Burger King.
He got him a vest.
He got a vest.
Bulletproof vest.
And so the thing with Jacob Blake, we tired of it. And it affects, it changes how everything is done. And for those who are not aware, I encourage you, all you need to do is YouTube Kenosha, Wisconsin. Kenosha, Wisconsin is not a big city, but they literally shut Kenosha, Wisconsin down. And in my opinion, rightfully so. Rightfully so. Let me stop because my blood pressure is going to go up even more.
Mine too, bro.
Because it don't make no sense.
It takes not only like it takes an emotional toll on you every day. Like we don't know. We're gonna wake up and hear. It's almost like, oh, we'll probably hear something today again, or sometime this week. It's just like it's right around the corner all the time. Like it becomes stressful. It physically takes a toll on your body and your mind. You know, it's something you think about all day long. It's not something we can escape. So, you know, it's almost, sometimes you almost become numb and then it hits again. That's what it feels like to me. Like I get a little bit numb and I can handle it, and then boom, it hits again, and I feel that whirlwind of emotion, you know.
Yeah, I am deeply frustrated with the lack of humanity that African American people are afforded in this country. I am deeply disturbed by the ability of our white counterparts to excuse absolutely anything, any treatment of those who don't look like them. I am completely disappointed in their ability to justify anything that happens. And you know, you could say, oh, well, that's not everybody. I know that, but that's enough people. White folks make up a vast majority, and in many cases, they assert themselves as leaders in every environment, whether they are or not. There's this assumption that because you're white, that makes you smarter or a better leader or more capable. And it has just been proven time and time again to not be so. And because we lack the moral aptitude to call things what they are, based off of our biases that exist here in the United States and our history of racism and violence against people of color and Black people especially, it is really, really difficult to wake up with an optimistic view of any of the systems that we exist in, whether it be on your job or anywhere else. And so it takes constant work on your part as a Black person to continue to exist and survive in an environment where you realize, I realize, that literally anything, your mic is on, Delana. Literally anything that happens to one of us, it doesn't matter what it is, it will always be excused, and you will always be deserving of whatever fate you were dealt. And on the same hand, no matter what happens, we are always expected to protect the life and the values and the rights of those who hurt us, those white folks who do harm to us. Our priority is to make sure that they get their day in court, right? Or that they get the opportunity to stand before a jury of their peers and all of this kind of stuff. But as an African American man, those same rights are not afforded to me. It's okay for something to happen to me and we all will just, well, what did he do? Well, the inability to say that was wrong really undermines any type of trust that is that I want to give, any trust that I want to afford people, because it just takes a lot of work to remain in a mindset to say, okay, you got to let people show you who they are, and when they show you, you got to believe them. And because, you know, we are so morally poor here in the United States, especially in terms of race, and because so many of our white counterparts are passively complicit in it, and that does not mean you're an openly racist or anything. It just means you don't challenge yourself enough because you don't have to.
Right.
And that's part of your privilege, is to think that you're doing all the work that you need to do, is that you have the right idea, that the cop was right, that people are really not out to get you. See, I don't get that. Everywhere I go, the first thing I got to be mindful of is my Blackness and how it affects those around me. And that is the reality of being Black, and knowing that your skin literally puts you at a higher rate of being assassinated by the police, of being killed by the police over a misunderstanding, of being assumed that you are the heightened, the most violent of individuals simply because I'm Black, you know. And that is a really hard thing to wake up and carry every day. And the crazy thing is, it's not even yours. I didn't do anything to deserve that reputation. None of us did. We all have our individual shortcomings, but we were born under this. You know, that's what always kills me, these comments. People say, well, if you don't do such and such, it's like, no, that's not it. That's not it. And you saying that shows me that you don't understand the way that society treats us. And this is not my opinion. This is data. I don't have to feel no kind of way about it. Look at the data. And it will tell you everything you need to know. Well, at the internet, you can find any data you want. Absolutely. Which is your privilege to do so, because it doesn't affect you.
That's right. So guys, we have 3 minutes and then we will be hitting an hour. We want to be respectful of your time. So I know that we took a few minutes for, brief introductions, but if you guys can give us like 25 more minutes of your time so that we can get through our list. And if we have to do a part 2, we'll do a part 2, but we want to be respectful of your time. I actually have like a 45-second timer here. We may have to start timing our answers, like doing like a rapid fire type of thing, challenge ourselves to do like a rapid fire, because the thing is, I'm sitting back and enjoying what my colleagues, like what my partners in this thing are saying, because they're giving such wisdom right now. And so this could go 3 hours if it were myself, because I'm sitting here listening to our podcaster, Kibwe, our pastor, Delante, and then our super experienced, super hard worker, super mom, super aunt, Alicia. I could listen to them all day. So we can do, I don't know if you guys want to do rapid fire. Maybe once we get 8 o'clock, we can start rapid fires, but we could probably just, did we cover the last topic?
Can I just show one thing that somebody had just sent in? I just want to share this real quick. And I think this proves a point. And then Lana, you shared this actually on the Facebook page. There have only been 12 days in 2020 where police did not kill someone. I want everybody that's watching, let that marinate for a little bit.
And look at how many days are actually 3+ killings.
Yeah.
Look at all those red days.
And here's the other thing.
That is disturbing.
And here's the other thing. There's a lot of other African-American killings that go on that does not make the national news, everybody. We just want everybody to be aware.
Think about the stuff that happened in the month of May. The protests were going on there, May, June, July, and they did not slow down.
No.
But the one thing I always say is that there's a bounty on the heads of Black people. I really, really believe in my heart that they are paying these people to kill Black people. I feel like police officers are rewarded when they kill Black people because they do it without hesitation. So I feel like the police officers that actually kill Black people know that they're going to be rewarded, but I think that they think first, can my conscience take this on? That's why every police officer doesn't do it, but there are always going to be those radical police officers that say, I want to sit behind a desk. I'm tired of going to duty. I'm tired of seeing these Black people. I'm just going to go ahead and kill one of them so that I can go sit down and still get paid for it. That's what we have to really start to realize, that they are paying these people, because, I mean, come on, if you could kill a Black person and go sit down and get paid and be protected while doing it, why not? So I think that when we start thinking like that, then we know that the entire system has to be destroyed. They don't like when we say defund the police, but how would you like it if we start saying to destroy the police? Because that's what you're doing to our community.
Yeah, and Deborah in the comments said something. She said the reward is they know they can get away with it. That's the reward. They probably don't even care about sitting behind a desk. They just don't like Black people. They're just racist, and they're like, I could kill one, get away with it. I'm a police officer. Why not?
Well, they raise $100,000, $200,000 for every police officer that do this. The GoFundMe's are out there. They're out there. They did it for George Zimmerman. I mean, $500,000 for him. So.
Yeah. That's sick.
All right.
And the reality is, all of this activity undermines the act of policing, undermines the act of actually protecting citizens from people who are actually out to hurt people, right? So because you have so much toxic stuff going on, so much racism and prejudice, how can you differentiate the two when they're all lumped together? how can you determine what is the best move when they're all lumped together and you refuse to create any type of accountability? See, that's that moral depravity I'm talking about, because you can't call a spade a spade. So we just gonna keep it all and you're just gonna deal with it. And that is the wrong approach. I understand that there are a lot of calls you have to make in the line of duty. You know, I've talked with different cops and sheriffs and things like that, and some of them have really compelling stories on how they got to be where they are. But for every one of those, you have so many who are not like that. So how do we differentiate? And if those good cops do not stand up and start their own revolution within their departments, within their professions, and qualify and do quality control, for lack of a better word, on the environments that they're in, how can I vouch for you? How can I stand behind anything that you do? You will literally let your buddy kneel on someone's neck until they die. You won't chastise your buddy for the wrongful things that are being done by them. And so you want me to have more moral conviction to not say defund or reform or destroy the police than you have to actually protect your line of work through the quality of the work that you do. Well, blah, 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 and the statistics, this and that. And it's just like, well, look, there's a problem and y'all need to fix it, because unless you do, we're going to fix it.
Now, listen, we probably got to have a whole separate panel on this, okay, on police brutality, because we ain't gonna never get to WAP, huh? We might have to scratch.
Nah, we ain't going to get to it.
All right, what is the next topic?
Look, that is our next topic.
Oh. Okay, so I think that Alicia and I could probably start this off. I don't have much to say about Kylie Jenner. Okay, y'all know what WAP stands for. If you don't, go and look it up. But I think that it probably stands for watermelon and
pineapples.
Pineapples. Facts. Okay. I think somebody in Fort Wayne actually sells a drink that's watermelon and pineapple. So go check that out. On Black-owned business. But yeah, watermelon. Yep. I need to get some. Watermelon and pineapples is what it stands for this Zoom call, right? But what I would say is I have nothing negative to say about the song at all. I like the song. I think that there's a place for it. You ain't gonna catch me singing it, but you will catch me singing it in my car somewhere. But the revolution will not be televised, okay? But I will say that the video, I think that Kylie Jenner was totally out of place. I believe that she was chosen because she is the neighbor of what's the girl name? Cardi B. Right. That's her neighbor. And Cardi B did say this, that they just became friends because of their kids, and they bring their kids to the parties. So it's kind of like a friendship thing. And if you want to befriend a billionaire so they could be in your circle, what do? Invite them in, right? So I think that she did. I understand why she did it, but I do think that there are so many Black. Hey, Mom. Yes, ma'am. Just not right now. I'm sorry. There are so many Black rappers that I feel like could have did that better, because she walked and the walk wasn't even that bad. And I mean bad as good. Okay.
She's in stiff competition too.
Yeah. So they could have scrapped her part.
All the
found
way.
Somebody with real body parts, to do that. But
all the way.
She went there.
Look.
Well, go ahead.
Oh,
Alicia.
go ahead, guys.
Nope. I want to listen to y'all first.
Right.
So I like, same as you. I have nothing against the song, and you will catch me singing it all the time. Okay. But no, I agree. They could have chosen someone better. I really didn't like that Kylie Jenner was in the video, but I understand how it probably transpired, how it went down, whatever. I just wish it would have been a strong Black female, like, I don't know who they could have had. Trina would have been, you know what I'm saying?
Honey.
So yes. So You know,
look at that face. I am so curious.
Ooh.
The reaction to Trina from Kidway and Delonte.
Oh,
What's wrong with
those
Trina?
those are all positive. I'm trying not to look like a fool over here.
I'm pleading.
Y'all know what that video is about, and I'm human, okay? So
I'm not touching this topic. I'm not touching this topic. I'll let y'all have that one.
you know, I think, you know, it was a networking move. That's what it is. It's their art form. It's their video. They paid for it. Did none of us pay for it? You know, when I hear people and they're really going after them about, you know, what they're saying, and it's just like, these are adult entertainers. Why are your kids listening to this? Well, it's all over the internet. Your kids should know not to repeat certain things, right? When I was a kid, I grew up in Gary, Indiana. So there was all kinds of stuff that I grew up around. Prostitutes, drug dealers, gangbangers. I knew not to take that into my house. I knew not to say certain things around my family. I knew I had to have a certain standard when I was in my home. And so I think you have to set the standard for your home, period. And so it's not their job to be a role model to your kids. Is it a great bonus to the platform that they have? Is it their responsibility to open a door or to try to advance the narrative of Black women? In my opinion, when you have a large platform, that is your responsibility, because to whom much is given, much is deserved. But who's to say that they're not? I think, just like you said, Delana, I don't think that's for everybody, but I also think these are grown people. My mom used to say, stay out of grown people business. We weren't even allowed to participate in certain conversations. We had to leave the room for certain conversations. And while I don't condone kids listening to that or watch, I also don't condone kids listening to the rap music that I listen to. I also don't condone kids listening to watching the movies that I watch, because I don't think the imagery is something that they can handle. The concepts are something that they can handle, given that they are kids. So if you really are going to hold a line on WAP, you need to hold a line on so many other things. There are so many other incredibly rich rappers and other artists who have made so much money objectifying women, talking bad about Black people, you know, and any and every other kind of thing. I mean, look at our president, okay? I mean, this is not a man of character. This is not a man of value. This is not a man of integrity. And so if we really are going to hold a line on our superstars, we should have held a line back in 2016, okay? So I don't, you know, I have a hard time walking into a female space and trying to say what they should and shouldn't do with their own money and time and talent. Like that.
It shouldn't even be a thing anyway, because
shouldn't even be a
look
thing.
at all the male rapper. I mean, they're always talking about suck on.
Yeah, exactly. And the booty shaking, you know, and all of that.
And so what? We can't talk about our parts.
Thank you.
Yeah, female rappers are having their time now, and the men are hating. Period.
Yeah, we create humans. Like,
do what you got to do.
The male rappers are hating.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There has never been a time where more than one female rapper, well, yeah, back in the day, yeah, around Queen Latifah, you know, around those days, yeah. So they had multiple rappers back then, but there's been many years where more than one female rapper has not been allowed to top the charts or really be heard. So I think that the male rappers are hating. They would love for these female rappers to be beefing, you know, getting into all kind of social media drama, all of that. But it's a lot of peace, love, and unity right now. So I love it, and I love WAP. And Derek Nelson says you sing it in your sleep, Alicia. So
I probably do.
Also, if you're talking about positive rap that you want to listen to, are you listening to other positive rap? Like, this is not the only music that women are producing. Like, I've been listening to Cyrock all week. Her song Forever and a couple of other ones. Like, she has so many amazing songs that she writes. She's an incredible rapper. Like, why are we only talking about WAP? If you really want positive female imagery, you got to find something and put it in front of your kids. Don't expect the media to do it. You want them to listen to some dope female MCs. Are you listening to Rhapsody? Are you listening to Queen Latifah? Are you listening to Cyrock? Are you listening? Okay, well then don't complain about what the news is showing your kids when you are not taking the time to show them something different.
Mhm.
That's all I'll say about it.
I remember growing up, and I'm only 35, but I remember growing up on Saturday nights at, I want to say maybe 10 or 11, that Comcast box, that big old giant box that my mother had back in the day. I had to go upstairs because Def Comedy Jam was coming on, and I was not allowed to be downstairs to watch Def Comedy Jam. Now, let me tell something else about this new generation as far as music. They're not talking about anything different that has not been discussed or mentioned in a song for the past, let's say 60 something years. It's been mentioned in blues, rock and roll, R&B. Lord knows all of us, we know what happens on Saturday mornings when we had to clean the house. It wasn't just always gospel music playing. Some of our parents were playing some Luther Vandross.
In my house it was.
Okay,
Mine
you had
too.
the gospel. Okay. But some had the R. Kelly playing it, the young R. Kelly. We ain't talking about the one now. The young R. Kelly in the background. Some had some
he was
Luther.
perverted too.
Luther. And I'm talking about big Luther. Not skinny one, big one. And so the music is still the same. It has not changed as much. Now, to the Kidway's point, there's a lot of awesome artists. I mean, and even if you want to go back and listen to old school, look, Lauryn Hill, her album, Miseducation of Lauryn Hill, is still a classic. If you want to listen to somebody new, listen to Toby. He's the one that said, try Jesus, not me. I need that shirt.
Okay.
So there's so parents, look, I understand that technology, I understand TikTok and Instagram and Twitter and Snapchat, but you're not your child's friend. You're a parent first. And if you don't want them listening to that, then be grown, be an adult, be at your age, not your shoe size, and put your foot down in your house that you're paying the bills in, and tell your child what you ain't gonna do. And if they talk back, let me know. I have some old school remedies.
Well, if your
for
child
that.
is talking back,
Some old school
I will
remedies.
tell you this.
That's me right there.
Oftentimes, if
Well,
your child is
you
talking
better-
back, you already then lost the war if your child is talking back. Oftentimes, because I tell you this, I don't care what age I was always scared of a backhand. Okay, I got my lip busted before. Now I'm telling you this though, I didn't do nothing. I really didn't. I stumped down the steps. And I didn't think I was stumping. Maybe I was just heavy and my foot was heavy. I don't know. But I got my lip busted, okay? I've always been afraid of my mama hands, okay? Her knuckles look like she, I'm so sorry, mama.
Yeah,
My
see, right there, that's the example right there.
My mama been whooping people, okay? My mama done had a lot of kids, hundreds of kids in and out of my mama house, okay? So she's, an avid whooper, okay? My hands don't look like I've been whooping nobody. Because I ain't got no kids. But I tell you this.
Not yet.
Those knuckles will be working if I have kids. Trust and believe. But I'll tell you, you got to start young, because when they get older and they're not, they don't have that healthy fear. Like many of us, we have a healthy fear for our parents. Just fearing the backhand. You know what I'm saying? Fearing, being in the corner or getting your phone taken or whatever it is. Nowadays, kids don't care about getting busted in the face if they got their phone. Okay, as long as
you
they
ain't
got
lying.
their phone, honey, take stuff from them.
Don't give them that option. You give them that option. Look, you give them that option. You say, what you want? You want a whooping, or you want me to take your phone? I'll take the whooping. It's like, what?
And then make them go outside and play. Get them a bat and ball and make them go outside and play. Okay.
So let me tell you what I did to my oldest daughter before we go to the next topic. So one day she caught an attitude because she started hitting the preteen stage, and she didn't do what I told her to do. So I told her to hand me her phone. That was when she was privileged to have a prepaid Samsung cheap phone, J3. Hey. And so what I did was I flipped the phone over, I took her case off, and I took the battery out. And I put the back of the case on, and I gave her the phone back, and I kept the battery. That hurt her more than just me, disciplining. That was a form of discipline. And so even with some of these kids now, hey, look, you want to mess them up? Turn the Wi-Fi off in the house. Change the access code, change the password to the Wi-Fi, and let them go paranoid. Make them go outside and hug a tree. Make them go get a switch. Let me stop. Let me stop, because somebody gonna message me and say, "Oh, bro, Jackson be abusing his kids." No, I discipline my kids to where I'm their parent.
There's a whole nother topic that you're creeping in on as far
Yeah,
as
I know.
how we in the Black community discipline our kids and why some of that has changed. You
Let me
really
write
don't
that
think
down.
police violence and inter community violence has not changed the idea of go outside and play? You know,
Yep.
that anticipatory grief of what happens if I send my kid outside in the front yard and some cop decides to accuse my kid of something and kill them for being whoever they are, or you know what I mean? Like, so there's a lot more to that topic, but I just wanted to throw that in there.
Yeah.
You see me, I'm writing it down, right?
Okay.
Y'all ready for the next topic?
Yeah,
go ahead.
We got 10 minutes, yeah.
All right, let's get to Frank Nitty, the impact Frank Nitty had on us. Obviously, we want to thank everyone who helped and supported us while we supported Frank Nitty, the donors, all the support, donations. That was so much appreciated. It's great to know that we have people that will come through and show up when it's needed the most. And you know, so we just want to thank everyone who helped us out as he came through Fort Wayne on his journey with any kind of support that you offered, the medics who were taking care of their feet, the shoes, Deborah Kuntz, you know, all the food, everything you guys came through with.
Yeah,
that was
and
amazing.
also the donors, most of these people that donated don't care to be seen or heard at all. So while you see us oftentimes in the front, we have a lot of support that you don't see. We wouldn't be here or wouldn't really be able to do what we're doing without those supporters and those donors. So we really, really appreciate you guys. You came through in the clutch for us and for Frank Nitty. And so we wanted to make sure that we said thanks to you guys.
Definitely.
It was amazing.
Do you guys want to do this one as rapid fire?
Sure.
45 seconds. So we never did a debrief with you guys about how you felt about the Frank Nitty. I know that as of last night, this morning, there were new events that occurred, and so it's just so much going on. But I guess we can maybe not do 45 minutes and do 60 seconds for the Frank Nitty thing.
Yeah.
All right. So who wants to go first?
I'll go for the interest of time. Let's get it.
Okay.
So Frank Nitty, first of all power to you, brother. Shout out to what you're doing. Shout out to the pain and the burden that you're carrying and have been carrying, both in your body and in your spirit. These so many miles that they have walked. Shout out to everybody who takes every step with them, whether it is just in solidarity, whether it is in their own way, however it is. Everybody has sent money, all of that. It is a tremendous feat of what he is doing, and he is exposing America in such a visceral way. It is just unparalleled in my opinion, and it's just so impactful to watch in real time him process things. I think that is such a unique view that a lot of people don't understand the amount of fighting this man has to do for even the smallest things, just based off of the fact that he's Black, just based off of the fact that the group that he's with is Black, just based off of what we represent in our movements and in our voices and with the power that we carry. We are very old spiritual beings, so we understand the need to pull ourselves forward by any means necessary, as Malcolm X said. And so shout out to him. I watched that live today of what happened in that hospital in Pennsylvania. What an absolute mess. And that is a small taste, one instance of the amount of subversion and tactics that are used in authority figures like law enforcement, like hospitals, like all these detectives and news agencies, in order to subvert and to further cloud the issues of right and wrong based off of an assumption that you deserved it anyway. I watched the live from when they were shot at. I was watching the live, and then to hear the press release and to, oh well, there were rounds and we recovered. It's like you are fundamentally undermining, devaluing everything that their human experience has shown them. And you think it's okay because you say, well, we discovered more rounds. Sure, you probably discovered all kinds of things at this point. Who's to say that any of that is theirs? Like what and then they were trying so hard to get this man's DNA, which I'm so glad his lawyer was on the phone, because that was a whole lesson right in there of how to respond when people are trying to infringe upon your rights and buy time. Because I know and have seen these things happen firsthand. And those are the exact things. Oh, we're waiting on a warrant. Oh, well, you can't leave. Well, am I under arrest? No, but I'm going to continue with the investigation. So I can't leave, but I'm not under arrest and I'm not detained. So you're going to kill me if I walk away, is what you're saying. You know, that's what it sounds like to me. And so anyway, that's my time. I'll surrender my time.
Well, no, you were good because I yield my 45 of my seconds to Kidboy because, I mean, I love what he was saying. So I'll just take about 5 of those seconds and say that Frank Nitty is anointed and appointed for a time such as this. I have watched him. I've watched to see if he had, if there was any kind of self or fleshly thing going on with him, but it seems very, very beyond a human experience to me. He keeps saying that God sent him, God gave him a vision. And when I tell you that everything, if you don't believe in Jesus, you might believe in the prophet, that there was a prophet named Jesus or whatever. I don't know what you guys believe in, but I'll say that everything that I saw in the Bible about this man named Jesus, I am seeing this walk with Frank Nitty. Like he is a human being, but the fact that he had the same pain in his side where Athena was shot, the fact that you could tell that before everything happened, he felt something. He was listening to gospel music right before those shots rang out. So I'll say this, and I'll leave it alone. I feel like he is anointed and appointed for this time. I fully support him, and I hope that I know that he's going to reach DC, and I'm excited to hear what he's going to say to the people on the 28th.
Definitely. I'll take my 45 seconds. Powerful is the word that comes to my mind. For those who don't know, this man and this group of all these individuals marched and walked from Milwaukee, Wisconsin. If you was to drive that is about at least a good 6.5, 7 hour drive. They walked through with Milwaukee, Wisconsin, Illinois. They got to Indiana and got all sorts of hell going through Indiana until they met the ChangeMakers. We made sure we're going to make sure you get out of Indiana, then Ohio. And every step they take, they have met some sort of resistance. But the motivation and what is powerful to me is that they still continue to march. A lot of other people and a lot of other people out there in the world today are clout chasers. Y'all don't know what that is. Get an urban dictionary and look it up. There's a lot of clout chasers that try to hijack the march. There's a lot of clout chasers that try to join the march. There's a lot of clout chasers that try to change the march. But Frank Nitty had in his mind, being led by the Spirit, to say he's going to get to DC. You're either going to get on the train or you're going to get off. And he's motivated. And then also, I don't know how much time I got left. Then you got to keep me track. Then he's making sure he's walking every single step. There's a lot of individuals today that would have cheated and said that they marched to DC. He backtracks to where he stopped the night before, and he starts at that point and he begins to march and to walk. And sometimes that backtracking is 15, 20, 30 extra miles. But this man is motivated and willing, and he said he's going to make it to DC. Right now, from where they are, where I looked at earlier, they're only 3 hours away from being in Washington, DC. They're going to make it. They are going to make it. And guess what? When they make it, it's going to be all of us making it, because they are representing us. They're representing those of us who cannot go, those of us who wish we could be there, those of us who are scared to go because of COVID. He is marching. He's marching for not just us in the Midwest, those in the South, those on the West Coast, those who ain't got no money, those who got, he's doing this for all of us. And he's showing us that amidst all the racism that's in America, don't care what the Republican National Convention individual says, she's slow. There's racism in America, and it has been here since day one, since Christopher Columbus stole the land from the Indians. Let me stop. But he's showing and he's exposing what we as African Americans have been knowing. Now, my challenge to all of my other counterparts, all my other Black folks, don't allow this just to be a waste of time. Don't just jump on this train just because it's an opportune moment for you to take a photo. Don't just jump on this because you think it's going to increase your ratings or it's going to get you elected. Do this for the right reason. Support Frank Nitty. Support him in that march, because guess what? He's already said he's coming back. And if you don't support him in this march, we know who you is. I yield my time. I yield my time.
You yield the floor because you took your time. Okay.
Boy, I tell you what, he was anointed.
We can have
Hey.
Alicia could wrap it on up for us.
Yeah, so I'll just say something quick about that. It's like Delonte said, powerful. That to experience everything that we experienced in those 3 days that we were exposed to Frank and his crew and Tory Lowe. Because we definitely got to put Tory Lowe in there.
Yeah.
He was on a whole nother level. And of course, my nephew King, love him. But that was like a eye-opening, powerful. It made you, like, just marching with them. I felt like it just gave me a power. Like I felt the strength as I was marching with them. And so that experience was something that I'll never forget and has positively impacted my, I guess I kind of look at things a little bit differently now, as far as that goes, because sometimes I feel like we live in this little bubble and we don't see what's outside of that bubble. But what he's doing, like you said, is exposing things. And so you're like, wow, this is, I mean, I experience racism, but wow, it's here, it's there, it's just everywhere, so to me, it was an awesome experience. And I'm so glad that I got to join them and march with them. And I can't wait if they come, on their way back. That would be awesome if we get to actually meet up with them again and kind of just talk and strategize, So we're going to wrap up for the night. This is our first episode here of ChangeMakers Uncensored.
Before we wrap up, I need to reclaim some time. Now, this is something different, and I believe we're going to start doing this after every ChangeMakers Uncensored session. We need to make sure as African American leaders in this community that we promote other African Americans. And so right now, I want to take the time to promote my brother Kidway Cooper and his podcast, his Empower You podcast, which you can get on podcast. If you got Apple, you can get on Spotify. You can see it on Facebook. Follow him. Powerful brother, knowledgeable. And also as well, ChangeMakers, we've started a YouTube channel. Follow us, and that way you're aware of the things that's going on. But definitely Kidway, he's got his podcast going, it's rocking and rolling. I believe he got 6 episodes already in. Take the opportunity, take the time to hear more sound and wise counsel from this young man, Kidway. I had to plug you, bro. I had to do it.
Appreciate that.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank
I
y'all.
had to-
Yeah, Kim plays bomb. Okay, and then he got this smooth radio voice too, so
Mhm.
you could just chill and listen to it. All right, and do whatever else you be doing when you're chilling. But I wanted to I wanted to also say that ChangeMakers have an event coming up. It is actually the Love Link Up on August the 29th. It's a Saturday, is the day after the March on Washington, the 29th Saturday. ChangeMakers will be there. There will be a lot of other amazing Black groups and vendors and businesses. So come out to the Love Link Up, hosted by Mari. Is it Mari Love? But I believe, Mari Love. And this is her second event of the Love Link Up, guys. You can come and see us there. And after that, we have a few other things coming up, and you're gonna love it. So stay tuned. One other thing is, if you're interested in any kind of voter engagement, please reach out to the ChangeMakers. You can email us at changemakersfw@gmail.com if you're interested in any kind of voter engagement. If you want to get engaged, you want to get involved, as you should. It is your civic duty to get involved. So if you're looking for something to do, and you just need to get busy your hands, we have a lot of work that needs to be done, and we would appreciate you guys' support.
Definitely.
All right, let's give some gratitude. Thank everybody for watching. Thank you all for
Definitely.
who's going to watch. Thank you to all the Black folks and allies who maybe heard some stuff they didn't like to hear today. Thank you for making it to the end of the video. You're a good one. Just because of that, we got to get through these uncomfortable situations so that we know each other and we can actually show up for each other authentically. So shout out to everybody. Thank you all so much. All Delana, Alicia, Delante, you all have been just incredible. And I'm so thankful to be among you, like for real, for real. So yeah, I've had a great
Absolutely.
time.
All right,
y'all. Have a good night. Yes.
Peace.